Make the bad man stop.
All right, everyone, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk entertainment. This bad man will never stop. We're going to keep churning out Giant content. Going to try to continue to do it daily. Because, there's not going to be a lot to talk about until we start trying to get under the salary cap. There are some things that are happening in the Giants world. There was an interesting article about Daniel Jones being the 32nd ranked quarterback in the league. I thought he was more like the 33rd ranked quarterback in the league, and that was done by Sports Illustrated. Because you know what? There is a difference. There is a difference between reality and perception sometimes, and the fan bases, of course, usually aren't grounded in reality because it's their guy, it's their quarterback. So they don't see the flaws, they don't see the issues, they don't see the problems. They see the one good shining thing he does once a game, and they forget about the other 20 things he does horrid. And that's to be expected because people are fans. You're fan, and this is not just going to Daniel Jones. This is going to all 32 teams in the league. It just happens. You're a fan, and you stand behind your guy. You stand behind your players, and that's the way, when you see an article like this, I'm not saying you need to take it with a grain of salt, but you need to take a look at it from an interesting perspective, because these types of articles are not from the fans' eyes. These are articles coming from the outside looking in. And it was interesting because, the Sports Illustrated, and I love it because you see the article, people like, there's different variables with Daniel Jones. And he was ranked 32nd on the list, and he is the one quarterback on our list who went through the offseason as a starter, and he's the 32nd on the list. Alongside the categories Nick Foles, Andy Dalton, Marcus Mariota, Tyrod Taylor, Gardner Minshew, who SI views as having more upside than Jones. I agree. The only way, and I've said this before, we did it on the stream the other day, that only one quarterback, there's only one starting quarterback in the league, or someone that was a starting quarterback in the league, that I would probably take over Daniel Jones, and that was Tyrod. I would not take Daniel Jones over. I would take Daniel Jones over Tyrod Taylor. I would probably go with Nick Foles. I would definitely go with Andy Dalton. I would definitely go with Marcus Mariota, and I would go with the porn stash. I would definitely go with Gardner Minshew. Not even a debate. Not even a thought process or an issue. I would go with Minshew over Daniel Jones. Plain and simple. And again, it's me taking my fan hat off. It's me with the fan hat off. You have Taylor Heineke ranked above Daniel Jones. I could see that. You have Carson Wentz, ranked above him, Teddy Bridgewater. Jared Goff, I would probably put 31st and trade them out with the Heineke. Jameis Winston is 27th. I would probably move him up further on this list because he did get injured. Jalen Hurts, I don't think he fits more than 26. I think he's better than David Mills. But there's plenty of guys. You got Trey Lance, who barely played, above Daniel Jones at 22nd. But if you look at the list, I don't have a big issue. I don't. And there's quarterbacks below Daniel Jones. Like I said, I would take Minshew over Jones. I would take Marcus Mariota Jones. I would take Andy Dalton over Jones. Wouldn't take Cam Newton. Wouldn't take Taysom Hill. Wouldn't take Flacco. I wouldn't take Tyrod Taylor. I wouldn't take Drew Lock. I wouldn't take Tyler Huntley. I wouldn't take Jacoby Brissett. I wouldn't take Jordan Love. I wouldn't take Geno Smith. I wouldn't take Sam Darnold, and I wouldn't take Dwayne Haskins. So look, there's a bunch of quarterbacks that I wouldn't pick up, that I would start Daniel Jones over. See? But there's a perception versus reality. And the perception from Giant fans, or certain Giant fans, is how wonderful Daniel Jones is going to be. And I love it because I can't remember who sent me the article. I think it was Giants Wire. They talk about how there are people that see Daniel Jones' strengths. And he says that while writers and armchair general managers continue to insist there's no meat on the bone, NFL GMs and head coaches continue to disagree. Now, I like the list of head coaches and general managers that disagree. Dave Gettleman, Joe Shane, Pat Shurmur, Joe Judge, Brian Dable, Jason Garrett, Mike Kafka. They all have something in common. They all worked with Daniel Jones with the Giants. That's some hard-hitting reporting by GiantsWire.com. Here are all the people that disagree with you. The people that all have worked with Giants and their current coaching staff and their current general manager. Oh, my goodness. I mean, like I said, I hope the kid comes back from the injury. I hope he plays well, and I said it before. Because if he doesn't play well, we're going to be really bad. And we may be really bad even if he does play well. But he's going to give you a better opportunity to win in the short term until we get...
All aboard the Malik Willis Express.
Until the Malik Willis Express gets ready to roll. That's all we need to worry about, and that's what we need to have. And people are I'm still picking Malik Willis. People are like, you've been bouncing with your thing with Malik. No, I haven't. I just think now we could potentially get him at 7. Unless there's a trade up. And it really depends on how he does on his pro day. And it really depends on how he does at the combine and how his personal interviews go. But I'm waiting for MetLife, and I'm waiting for
Malik Willis. Bring him the boom.
Malik is going to drop the boom on the NFL. And so all the haters take a back seat. Because the Malik Willis train is rolling into the station. I want to talk about the salary cap. I want to talk about cap casualties. I find it interesting there's so many different salary cap numbers bouncing around. To me, the Giants are about $16.2 million in available cap, above the cap right now. If you take a look at, and you have to go back and estimate the cap with the rule of 51, though. So if you're looking at the rule of 51, the Giants are probably about 12 million over the cap. If you're looking at the rule of 51. And the rule of 51 is what we need to target right now. That's what we need to target because of the fact that once you get under your cap by March 16th, the rule of 51 kicks in. So you're not going to have to worry about being under the cap again, basically until camp breaks and the rule of 51 dissolves. Now, everyone who's ever listened to this channel understands that the rule of 51 is the top 51 contracts are the only contracts that count on your salary cap until the last day of training camp, until camp breaks. So then you have to absolve the other 2 contracts, and then you fall out of the rule of 51 into the rule of 53. Plain and simple. Now, you got to look at some of the guys that we could potentially cut. We've done this before, but I keep bringing this up to people, and sometimes people, I keep bringing this up. Because everyone you got to cut this guy, we're going to save this much, you cut this guy, you save this much. Okay. Let's just take James Bradberry for an example. He's got a $21 million cap hit right now. And if we decide to move on from James, if we move on and say, you know what, we're gonna waive James, and we're just gonna move on from him right now. So if he is a post June 1st cut, or if he's a pre-June 1st, let's look at pre-June 1st. He's, like I said, we're saving $9.7 million. We're going to save, if he's pre-June, we're going to save $12 million. We have a dead cap number of 9. Okay. Which is good. Now, which is interesting though, because people always bring up the fact, well, why don't we trade him? Well, trading him, you're going to be trading pre-June 1st. You're going to be in the exact same boat. A pre-June 1st trade with James Bradberry, you're still going to incur a $9 million cap space, a dead cap number, while saving $12 million. Now, if you do it post June 1st, your dead cap number is going to be 8.3, but then you forget you're going to roll over his bonuses and have a dead cap number 2023 of 1.3. And for a total cap savings, you're going to have for $13 million in 2022. Now, again, if he's a post June 1st trade, his dead cap number is still going to be 8.3. You're still going to have that 1.3 in 2023, and you're still going to have a net savings in 2022 of $13 million. But here's the problem. You have to remember, you have to take a look at how you are managing not only your cap savings, but your dead cap number. Because of the fact, if you take a look at this, yes, you are saving $13 million. You're going to have $13 million, but you're also going to have an $8 million cap number, dead cap number on the space. Now, I understand that Deshane, what he wants to do is clear out as much salary that he can, get rid of as much money as he can in 2022, so he can have more money to work with in 2023, because his philosophy is building through the draft. Now, the problem is when you get rid of someone like James Bradberry is going to be 29 years old. He's coming up at 29, which is fine. I still think he maybe got a year or 2 in him, but the problem with James Bradberry is you could tell he lost a step at times. It could have also just been a bad year. He was just having a bad year. But he's lost a little step. He's lost a little bit. So you really can't say he hasn't. But But is there a player on the roster that's going to be better than James Bradberry at 29 years old? And is there a guy you can go out there right now and find out there via free agency that you are going to bring in on a I don't want to say a minimum contract, but a contract that's going to be conducive enough for the player and the team to have a starting corner to go alongside of Dory Jackson? I mean, so because like I said, he is a logical trade candidate, or he is a logical release candidate, James Bradberry. He really is. Now, the other person on this list, if you take a look at it, it's going to have to be Blake Martinez. And these are our two big free agent signings from a couple of years ago. You figure Blake is going to have to be the guy to go, because Blake to me is more manageable. He's got a dead cap number of 5.5, and you're saving 8 if it's pre-June 1st. And again, with the same thing with the pre-June 1st trade, it's 5.5 dead, 8.5 in cap savings. Your post-June 1st is going to be 5.5, and you'll have 0 dead cap space. And this is a key. You'll have 0 dead cap space in 2023. So more than likely, he is going to be a post-June 1st release, and you're still going to have the cap savings of 8.5. Now, again, if you do the trade, you're still going to have your dead cap number of 5.5. You're going to have your dead cap number of 2023 at 0, but you're going to have a net cap savings of 5.5 in 2022. So to me, James Bradberry is going to be a more logical choice to get rid of. Not James Bradberry, Blake Martinez. I apologize. Blake Martinez to me would be a more logical choice to get rid of. He really would fit the bill a little bit more. Then you got a lot of people talking about dumping Sterling Shepard. Now, Sterling Shepard to me is going to be a little tricky, because you're going to have a dead cap number of almost 8 pre-June 1st and only a cap saving of 4. And then your trade's going to be the exact. And if you're post-June 1st, you are going to have a dead cap number. Now, you got to remember, you're going to have a dead cap number post-June 1st of 3.9 in 2022, 3.9 in 2023, but you're going to get a net cap savings of $8.5 million in 2022. And basically, they're the exact same number in the post-trade. So in some ways, you can divide some of that dead cap money over 2 years and actually have a larger cap savings if you do a post-June 1st cut. But again, what wide receiver, unless you're going to find one in the draft, that you are going to pay with that savings to bring in here on the roster? I mean, I don't know. It's difficult. And then you want to look at Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan, to me, I don't understand the contract for Logan Ryan. Never did, never got it. He was a Judge guy. He was trying to do the Parcells thing. He's a Parcells guy. Now, this is why we cannot get rid of it. This is probably why we probably will. I don't know what we're going to do with Logan Ryan. Because right now, if we release him pre-June 1st, we have 11.4 million dead cap number. We only have cap savings $750,000. Pre-June 1st trade, your dead cap number goes to 2.9, and your cap saving is 9.25. But who are you going to get to take onto this contract? Now, post-June 1st release, you got a dead cap number 11.4, but you'll have a 0 dead cap number 2023, and you'll have a cap savings of only $750,000. So really, if you're going to get rid of Logan Ryan, it's going to be a post-June 1st. Because there's also his post-June 1st trade number. You're looking at a dead cap number 2.9, 0 dead cap number 2003, a cap savings of 9.25. So if anything, you're going to look at getting rid of Logan Ryan. I don't think they're going to get rid of Logan Ryan. But if you get rid of Logan Ryan, it's going to be after June 1st. So these are the things that the Giants need to look at. These are the big names. Because we can't get rid of Kenny. We can't get rid of Leonard. We can't get rid of Adoree Jackson. Those are contracts that we're just so ingratiated with. We're gonna get rid of Kyler Rudolph. I mean, like I said, it's gonna be. We're getting rid of Riley Dixon. We all know that. Or Riley Dixon's either gonna be released or renegotiated or something. But Riley Dixon is gone. But you can't tie up. We have so much tied up. We are so top heavy contractually with our top 5 guys. I mean, we are beyond cap heavy with that, because if you think about it, if you just look at Leonard Williams, Bradberry, and Kenny G's number, you're looking at 33% of our cap tied up into the top 3, 40% tied up in the top 4, and you're looking at almost 52% of your cap tied up in the top 6. That's not a good way to manage your cap. That's not a good way to have that number. And I laugh, though, because the fact that I love people like, well, Kevin Abrams is still going to be the cap manager. Yeah, he's not the cap manager. Told you that. He's not going to be the cap manager. But like I said, because the way our contracts are structured and the way this cap is structured, you gotta give the Shane the credit, because he came out and said, you know what, this is bad. And he's not wrong. But at least I like the fact that the Shane is honest. He's honest, and same with Dable. You set realistic expectations. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk entertainment. And as always, if you like, subscribe, and that plays what it means.